Her opponents all go home with broken bones. She'll have you singing the blues. Blue Mary.
Let's fight!
Blue Mary is a freelance special agent who fights with a Commando Sampo style primarily. Her first appearance was in Fatal Fury 3, and she was originally introduced into the King of Fighters 97 following a series of popularity polls developed by video game journals. Her design is said to arise from the Dragon Ball Z character Android 18. In King of Fighters 15, Blue Mary is part of Team Secret Agent alongside Luong and Vanessa, and like her positioning in this team, she is generally considered to be best as the second or third member of the team, due to the reliance on meter to really capitalise on opportunities. Blue Mary is generally considered to be a rushdown character, and she has countless ways to open an opponent up through overheads, lows, cross-ups and throws. She also has strong defensive options, including her vertical arrow and real counter special moves.
ご推察通り仕事よ仕事。でも今から少しの間だけはプライベートになるけどね。テリー
I believe that every move is designed with a purpose, but some will always be more apparent and crucial to a game plan than others. Here are a few moves that I believe to be key for Blue Mary. Crouching light kick is a standard for most characters in King of Fighters. For Blue Mary, it is not only a low, but also one of her fastest moves, coming out in 4 frames. You can chain her crouching light kick into other normal moves, making this her go-to low combo starter, and meaning it's a great up-close tool to make the opponent guess between blocking high and blocking low. Crouching heavy punch is a decent ranged mid-shoulder charge which comes out in 9 frames. Don't be fooled by the frames on hit and block, as this move is intended to be cancelled into either a command move, special move or a super move. Crouching heavy punch is one of Blue Mary's best whiff and block punishment tools, as it will remain cancelable at any range in which it connects. Forward light punch is one of Blue Mary's 3 command moves. While it's a bit slow to start up, it has decent range while also being only -4 on block with pushback. The properties of this move change depending on whether you use it in neutral or cancel into it. If you cancel into forward light punch, it is a mid attack which can cancel into special moves and super moves, perfect for extending combos. If used in neutral, forward light punch is an overhead but cannot be cancelled into special moves. You can still cancel it into super moves though, including max mode. Jumping light kick is another standard for most characters in King of Fighters. While the move is fast at 6 frames, it requires you to be airborne, which makes that somewhat irrelevant. The frames on hit and block also change depending on the depth in which you connect on the opponent. While the opponent can react and can anti-air you, this is still a good approach, and if set up accordingly, can be used to cross up the opponent. Vertical arrow or crouch dash kick is one of Blue Mary's special moves. I've singled out the heavy version as it has the most versatility. This move is invulnerable on startup, allowing you to challenge an opponent's pressure, at a high risk of course. This move has great versatility as it also acts as a strong anti-air and one of her more common combo enders. The first hit of the attack can be cancelled into a super, allowing for some nasty conversions.
エージェントとしてがぜん興味が湧いてきちゃうわ。
君には関係のないことだと以前にも忠告した覚えがあるのだがね。自身の任務に戻りたまえ。
Telling someone how to play neutral is a bizarre thing, and what is good or not varies with who your opponent is, and what they're doing. Let's consider this based on Blue Mary's tools available to her. As Blue Mary has no fireball or other tools that work effectively at range, her game is very limited at a distance. Her methods of dealing with range tools don't really build her much meter either, so if your opponent does have these characteristics, it's probably best to aim for a range where you can have a bit more control of the match and try to have the upper hand. At a distance, you can use her straight slicer to catch stray buttons or movement, but this is a very risky call out. With this in mind, Blue Mary's main game plan in neutral is to attempt to approach and reach mid to close range. Blue Mary has a number of tools to get around projectiles, including the universal roll, jumps and hops, as well as her real counter, straight slicer, EXM break of a half a bar, or if you're willing to spend the 2 bars, her M splash rose. The height of the projectile can affect what will and won't work, so keep that in mind. Once you're in mid-range, an aggressive opponent is likely to approach with jumps and hops. Blue Mary is lucky enough to have strong anti-airs to make the opponent hesitant about approaching vertically. Heavy vertical arrow is invulnerable on startup, meaning it works brilliantly even against attacks with large hitboxes. This is also a common combo ender, meaning it puts you in a very frequently seen situation afterwards. Down forward heavy kick doesn't have the invulnerability, but it gives you plenty of time to confirm for a combo for a massive reward. Real counter can be used to evade and punish jumping attacks, and can make them hesitant about attacking. Keep in mind that they could use a throw to beat this option. Lastly, you can use jumping attacks yourself to anti-air. Jumping light punch is a fast, decent option you could use. When approaching, your goal is not only to get in, but to be in a favourable situation. Once you're at mid-range, you can attempt to whiff punish with one of her normals, such as far heavy punch, which will let you convert into a combo. You could look for the suitable timing and dash into range where you can attempt a mix-up, such as forward light punch or crouching light kick, or just dash and block to bait them to perform something risky. Jumps and hops are a key part of offense in King of Fighters, and while strong anti-airs exist, if you're varying your approach and not becoming too predictable, the opponent will have trouble anti-airing you consistently. Her jump heavy kick and jump heavy punch plus heavy kick can both be challenging for some characters to anti-air, so can be used well to approach. If you're lucky, you may approach the opponent and hit them instantly. Overheats are quite slow in this game, and so mix-ups can be hard to enforce without also staggering pressure and performing frame traps. Staggering your light punch and crouching light punch can be a good way to maintain frame advantage, as both are plus on both block and hit. Light spinfall has decent application and ending pressure, as if cancelled off of anything except the light punch, crouching punch or light kick, it will beat a 4-frame attack. And if the opponent is only using light attacks here, the risk versus the reward is definitely in your favour. If they're speeding and just blocking the spinfall, this could be a chance to instead use an M breaker to break their guard. The opponent may beat this with an invulnerable attack. However, you can use this opportunity to bait such an attack too, and the existence of these tools alone can make the opponent hesitant in punishing earlier moves as heavily. Okizeme is about getting in and staying. If you finish a combo that doesn't KO, you don't want to reset to neutral and play Blue Mary where she isn't at her strongest. With meta, often a knockdown into one mix-up is all you need to KO. There's too much to talk about here, but let's look at just a few possibilities. Heavy vertical arrow is a common anti-air and combo ender, so this knockdown situation is one that you will see a lot. You can use the frame advantage to dash and frame trap the opponent, or use a low to trip them over. Unless the opponent has a very slow reversal, there's no safe way to jump in on them, but you can use the situation to create an ambiguous jump in cross-up with jumping light kick. Hitting an airborne opponent with forward plus light punch will cause a hard knockdown and leave them close to you. This does result in a large chunk of damage lost, mind you. Here it is possible to dash into a short hop, which will be a safe jump against many characters. Make sure you know who you can and cannot do this on though. If you have the meter to end with a 1 meter costing M splash rose, but not enough to extend the combo and KO the opponent, it's a decent option. If the opponent has a reversal that's 8 frames or faster, jumping is risky here. You can use a roll to be right at them and at frame advantage to begin pressure. Actually, You have enough advantage so that you can do a small step before the roll and force them to guess which side your pressure is starting from. we've reached the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned something. There's plenty more to learn and a never-ending stream of resources coming out, so continue learning alongside other fighting game enthusiasts and make sure that you have fun. I'm a friendly tree, and I'll see you next time.